Hey guys, what's going on? It's Allure coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I'm not alone. I'm joined by Darth, Microtransaction. Darth, what's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good day today, Ash. How's your day going?
My day's going fantastic. It's even better now because we get to talk about champions that we love. Champions that we would rank up no matter our account. No matter if we were big spenders, no matter if we were totally free to play. We're going to exclude legendary champions. We're going to exclude all kind of the daily login reward champions. We're going to exclude the Doom Tower champions. And we're going to exclude epic void champions because we want to be champions who people have a shot at pulling, you know, like the majority of people. So do you want to kick things off, Darth? Like, do you have a number one out of all these champions?
Like a number one, like my absolute favorite?
Not yet, exactly. Not the best necessarily, but one that's always just had that spot in your heart.
I mean, to be honest, ever since I've seen Cold Brew do it to send the props the proper direction, I'm going to have to say Armiger, because I
What the heck is that?
feel like Armiger has helped me on every account I've used since I started creating that account. I mean, I didn't use it on my main, but it would have helped me for sure. But now that I kind of know what I'm doing a little bit more, Armiger has been a staple in almost every single account I've ever created since then. And things like Spider Down, really anywhere but Dragon, really. I mean,
yes, Scarab King, I mean, you name it. He's used in endgame content, and that's right. For those new players who are clicking on this video, he's an uncommon champion. An uncommon champion who really does belong on this list. So, great shout out to start things out. We're going to move pretty quick in today's video, guys. I'm not going to go in depth on all these champions. We have a lot to get to. So, I'm going to go ahead and go with mine. Who is my favorite? Oof. I don't know if I have a favorite right now. However, I will point out a champion who I just keeps growing on me more and more, and that is Rector Darth. Rector Darth is a character who, when she came out initially, I thought she was pretty good.
I'm a man.
I thought she was a dude in the champion guides. Misstrath, apologies there. I feel like she's endgame. We see her in Platinum Tier Arena. We see her in endgame Doom Tower. She's a great support champion, and she's really fast too. She has a 109 speed, and she has like good stats all around. She has the Veil, she has the OP heals, and she has the Revival on a 4-turn cooldown with the perfect Veil for 3 turns. Really a big fan of this champion, Rector Darth.
Yeah, I also like the passive resistance increase because resistance is kind of one of those stats where it feels really bad to build. So any character that has resistance either built into passives for everybody or as an aura is kind of nice. Like the hippo character, right? The hippo has a resistance aura for everybody, and I just started using the hippos, and I find myself even in early game being like, wow, 4D flat resistance, I'm actually resisting some stuff now.
Right? Everybody builds accuracy. No one thinks about resistance. They're like, nah, I don't want to deal with the resistance, but everybody focuses on accuracy. It's kind of funny to see that differential there. But yeah, Rector Darth is absolutely Enforce Affinity, decrease attack on the A1. All right, I'm going on and on here, Darth. Save me.
Oh man, you got the energy.
I love her.
Copies you have
I love her, man.
Video. Yeah.
I know. I've had 4 energy drinks today. Eesh.
Well, how about I take it over for me, and then I'll tell you War Maiden, because we got War Maiden is going to be my next upcoming one. I think War Maiden is one that is pretty well described to be one of the easiest to get characters in the game, as well as one of the best characters in the game for newer or free-to-play accounts. Especially, I've used War Maiden on every single account that's a newer account, and pretty much everyone else does too. The reason being is because she has an AoE decreased defense, and she's a force character. A lot of characters you have to deal with in early game arena are going to be blue, and since she's red beats blue pretty much in the rock, paper, scissors, and being able to do AoE defense down, and since she's farmable, allows you to actually farm the books to get the AoE defense down to 100%. So for that reason, War Maiden pretty much is a staple of almost any new account. Plus, she has pretty good stats, to be honest. The base stats aren't too bad, and she can do a 2.5% poison on the basic attack, which gets you a little bit of damage in the clan boss too, but primarily she is for the AoE defense down. And
how did you say all that in one breath?
Because Dragon 20, which used to be the in-game one, now it's 25, was of the blue affinity, and she's red affinity. She always got kind of known as being really good at scaling into the in-game too, because farming Dragon ends up being highly important going into mid and late game as well. So for that 100%. Reason, War Maiden's my pick.
I agree with you 100%, and you hit the nail on the head. She's super easy to book out and to max out. Everybody should pick her up. You can also just get Shield Guard. He's not on my list, by the way, but a fun champion, both farmable in the Dreadlands on Stage 9 in campaigns. So everybody basically should pick up a War Maiden, especially when starting out in this game. Next up, I have Let me go to a super obvious choice, but how could I have a video not mentioning my personal favorite rare in the game? And she is a legendary disguised as a rare champion. I'm sure you already know who I'm talking about. It is codeheart. What do I need to say about codeheart other than this ability, the Heart Seeker? I mean, I guess 4-time hitter on the A1 for Fire Knight is amazing. And then decrease target's turn meter by 100%, deals a billion damage. Quote me on that, a billion damage. It's just an incredibly hard-hitting ability. Sure, she was nerfed in the end game, but she's still one of the best rares, the best rare in my personal opinion. Very close to the other rare that I'll mention in a second here.
Well, I mean, you can't really say anything bad about codeheart, except maybe she's a little bit hard to get since she's a void character.
She is void. We said no void epics, though, so I can't include a void rare. See, like how I make the rules here, Darth? We change them.
Right,
we change them as we go along.
All right, a little bit. I get it. You're the host. Get to cheat on your own show. Okay.
No void characters whose name starts with D through Z, is what I said in the beginning. Who do you got next, Darth?
All right, I got Mausoleum Mage, because Mausoleum Mage, in my personal opinion, one of the most solid epics in the entire game. I mean, he's probably top 10 material, because being able to remove debuffs, great. Obviously, there's benefits to removing the debuffs on his A3. The A2 is kind of where it's at, though, to be honest. I mean, you can explain to the people why the A2 is so good, but it's one of the best moves. You know, I mean, not many people have defense up as well as block defense. Block defense as well as block debuffs. And on top of it, if you remember one of the previous videos we did about a similar thing about why, I think it was best rares we did. We were talking about Marked for this exact reason, about how Marked has the defense up and block defense, debuffs, as well. Yeah, block debuffs to defense. I don't know why it's always so hard for me to say those names.
No, but I hear you saying, though, that's an OP ability for sure. And decreased speed in the A1 too. He's got like a little bit of everything you need in the cleanse, in the heal. Like, I agree with you. I think that he's, well, I think he's the best epic support champion out there, I mean, you can make that case. I don't know who would be in the same conversation. There's a few, but anyway, good call out there. I mean, certainly Mausoleum Mage. Well, I might as well talk about Miscreated Monster. He's a Freudian slipping into it, so here we go. Yeah, I mean, again, talking about non-void epic champions who are auto upgrades, I mean, it doesn't get much better than Miscreated Monster. Decreased defense on the A1, the big version, one of the best shields in the game, especially in Spider on the A2 and in Ice Golem as well on the A2. And then Ally Protect as well with healing himself on the A3. He's got a cool passive that puts fear on enemies, a little bit of CC built in. Yeah, Mausoleum, or Miscreated Monster. What the heck am I doing?
What? You're just ruining it. Look at my lips. You're ruining it.
Miscreated Monster is a beast. Is a beast. So yeah, Miscreated. That's my next guy. Who do you got next?
Beast? You know who else is a beast, Ash? It's Brass. Brass is an absolute beast. You know why he's an absolute beast? There, my friend Ash.
It looks. Why? He's the best healer in the game.
One of them. He's one of the best healers in the game. He's one of the most OG healers in the game. He was a legacy character. He got released when the game got released too, which is great. It's interesting because he holds up and stands the test of time. It's still quite as good, which goes to show if you make a simple kit that's effective, the character can still be great always. Because the reason he's good is when you ascend him, he heals all allies by 10% of his max HP, right? And that itself wouldn't be that great, but it's a case of him like it is with Mountain King, where he has really high base HP. So for that reason, if you stack tons of HP on him and then have crit rate, you can obviously heal for an absolute time. Plus, he has a passive, or an aura, I should say, of 33% defense in the ally dungeons, which is one of the better defense auras. It's not the highest defense dungeon aura, but it's one of the better ones anyway, since it's an epic.
Absolutely.
His A2 is more or less a move you just never want to use, because it literally only attacks an enemy, and that's all it does. It's worse than his A1, so you just disable the A2. And yeah, I didn't understand it either, TV. I don't know why they did it, but
what the heck is that?
TV was yelling at me. But yeah, the basic attack's pretty much the only move you use him.
Yeah, I love him. And do you run, what kind of artifact? Do you run him like Relentless? Do you run him Frenzy? Something crazy like that? What do you run him in? So I guess Frenzy doesn't make any sense. Ignore that.
Put them on my free-to-play
Yeah.
where my gear is limited. So I'm really
Okay.
just using, any type of resilience gear, HP gear, immortal, anything that gives him bonus HP within like a 6-star pair of crit rate gloves is what I'm going for.
Yep.
And that's about the most reasonable I can get on him. On my main account, however, yeah, you can run relentless on them. So sometimes you get the double proc.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the other thing you can do is just stack the same thing, just as much pure HP with HP boots and everything, all 6-star HP, and then use them with a charge-based DPS team also, which will keep him healing regardless of him not having to be very fast.
Go along.
I'm a
I
big
like
fan
that
of it.
move. I like that move. So you put him with an ally attacker, and then he's healing every time he uses A1.
Right, or the counterattack.
Counterattack as well. Yep.
But
All right.
counterattack's harder to get, so.
Okay, my next is going to be, I'll take your Vrask and I will raise you a grizzled yarl, who I called Jarl for the first 6 months of YouTube, and everybody let me have it in the comments.
No, it's not my business, but I think you might have a problem.
Yarl, Darth.
Yarl.
Good old Yarl. I actually really, I don't know if a lot of people expected me to include this champion on the list. I don't feel like he gets the credit that he deserves. He has a heal reduction on the A1. Enough said. No, I'm joking. But he has damage based on defense, easy to keep alive. He's got block debuffs and increased defense. Again, similar to Mausoleum Mage. But then on the A3, he has probably one of the other most important debuffs in the game, 100% when booked. And that's an AoE based on defense plus the decreased attack big version as well. So he's bringing the decreased attack, he's bringing the increased defense, and he's bringing the block debuffs. And that's on a 3-turn cooldown as well. I think that Grizzled Jarl, and he's easy to keep alive because he's damage based on defense. So I'm a big fan of this dwarf. He's helped me a lot. He helped me, specifically in Faction Wars, but really in a bunch of different areas as I was progressing in this game.
I'll back you up on this one because he's one of the characters who's based upon defense. Oh my god, look at this. I'm getting a call in the middle of my studio message here. The thing about him, he is based upon defense, so he does an absolute ton of damage based upon defense, as well as he actually decreases each target's max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted too. So he's one of those characters you can build, and then he also works for stuff like Scarab.
Yeah. Who you got next, man?
Well, I'm going to give you another kind of, since we're doing a little bit more oddball epics at the moment, I'm going to give you Jareg, who, in my personal opinion, Jareg is one of the better epics. He's a mix of kind of a support, attack down, tanky type of character. Jareg used to be the character that gave Alton a run for his money back in the day, because people consider him potentially even better because he had an ally HP battle aura instead of the ally defense aura, and then that aura could be paired with the fact he did continuous heal, and so he could be fairly sustaining, etc. Plus he does ally protection and increased defense on all allies, whereas Alton only did defense up, so you can use him as a protection type of character too, and you can book him and time him and all that, so he protections and defenses up there, the AoE, etc., and then you have attack down on the basic. He was overall a character that people pretty much considered like a clan boss god, and for a while he was one of the best characters in clan boss.
Yo, I 100% agree on him. I think that he's a great support champion. Not much to add there other than, good call out there. Good call out. All right, I'm going to use my most used champion in the game. I probably mentioned this 150 times here on the channel, but it's Doom Priest. That passive heals all allies plus the remove one random debuff from them at the start of each champion's turn. I feel like she got such a value surge here, Darth, once we had these new bosses to contend with in Doom Tower. So I feel like Doom Priest is just a class act, a really unique passive here, and I rely on her heavily. Don't even need to talk about the rest of her kit, although I will say her A1 hits pretty hard too, for being her only damage dealing ability. So yeah, that's Doom Priest. Do you use Doom Priest? Are you a fan?
Doom Priest was one of the first epics I maxed out. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th one because I got her really early in the game. She was another one of these kind of OG characters with another unique passive that is really good. So yeah, absolutely. I have a ton of experience with Doom Priest and completely agree with that pick. You have a ton of experience with my next pick, which is Seeker.
I do have a ton of experience with Seeker, as a matter of fact.
You want to run people through why potentially Seeker might be one of my more favorite characters? I mean, it's pretty.
You want me to take this? I like this.
Right?
Yeah, I like how you hand your guys to me. I like this move. I like this.
It's great. No, I just toss them on over, then I sit here and I drink my water. And
happy to do it. Happy to take your phone calls, everything. You do whatever you want. Seeker, I actually leaned on him heavily as on my arena speed team. However, he does work on both speed teams as a turn meter booster, grant an extra turn turn, come in with an A1, be annoying with provokes. He also works on defense teams. Ergo, his aura, 30% in arena battles. Great to have. And his passive, increased defense on all allies for 2 turns when he's hit with a critical hit. Happens once every 5 turns. And more recently, I used him in Batman Unkillable comps. Boom. That's my Seeker.
Have you noticed? Look at Seeker. Is that knife on the top of his head new? Has he always had that giant unicorn?
He's always
horn?
had it. I thought it was like a nose, but apparently it is a knife, huh?
Trying my best.
It's a knife helmet.
A giant knife strapped to the top of his head with bolts. I thought those were his eyeballs, but
I mean, this guy is like, he's the thing of nightmares, dude. Like, I mean, sometimes you play with a champion so often that you don't even notice how hideous they are. I mean, this guy looks mean. Anyway.
That's a rough one, man. Okay, how about Frozen Banshee? I'll tell you what, I'll handle one now. Now that since you handle one of mine.
Oh, you're going to go back to back? Go for it, man. I was going to give you one of mine to handle, but okay.
Nah, of course not. That would be fair now. But,
go.
So Frozen Banshee, absolutely love her. She's somebody you can pull for mystery shards, and if you get her on free to play, which I have pulled her for mystery shards on 2 free to play accounts now.
Congratulations.
And both of the time I did it, it changed the clan boss damage for me because, as you know, 5% poison on basic attack is pretty good when you have a 100% chance of placing poisons when they're under a poison sensitivity, especially when you place your own poison sensitivity with your A3. And then, just as an additional, in case she's not good enough, she can fill the term meter of all allies 2% for each debuff on the target to a maximum of 20%. So she has everything you're going to want on poisoner, basically. She even gives you ally accuracy in all battles. So
the first champion in the game with the poison sensitivity too. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Absolutely. Right, and pairs with Graveyard Chiller pretty well too if you happen to.
Yes, indeed. Okay, I'm gonna go next with I'll go with an obvious one. Skull Crusher, right? Skull Crusher, I mean, he is one of the 3 champions in the game with counterattack. Just as importantly, though, he's a great support champion with Ally Protect in his kit as well. For 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Unkillable on himself, so easy to keep alive. Great for clan boss for obvious reasons. Good for Fire Knight, good for anywhere that you need counterattack. So Skull Crusher.
Yeah, no, you can't. I mean, it's one of the only 3 characters in the game that has something.
Yeah, and like, he has to be mentioned because of that. And like, I think that people just think of him and think of a counterattack and that's it. But like, that Ally Protect is really solid to add to the table too. Like, he's a simple kit, but incredibly effective and unique.
Completely agree, which brings us to somebody else who is, I want to say kind of unique as well, to be honest. For rocking the fat. And what's unique about he has a couple things that's unique about him, okay? Which is that he deflects all of the incoming damage on himself receives onto the allies, which is weird because you would think the big fat guy's like the tank, but instead it's
you think so? That belly? Yeah.
Oh wow, I can't even comprehend how inappropriate this is.
His A3 is really cool because it places crit rate and crit damage buff on all allies except himself for 3 turns. Then all allies except himself will attack the target enemy, which is kind of like, it's fairly unique. Like, everyone else go. He's too lazy.
Indeed. I like that. He's great really because he's the best, in my opinion, he's the best ally attack non-legendary in the game, and ally attack is in right now, so I agree with you 100%, with all due respect to Catacomb Consular. All right, my next is going to be, there's so many debuffers now in the game. There's Duck the Pierce, there's Siege Hulk, there's so many epic, amazing debuffers, but I still think that Stag Knight, even like OGs like Tyrell, Zargala, like, I love you all, but I'm gonna still give it to Staggy because he's got decreased speed on his A1, and which is amazing for bosses, and on his A2 he's got the decreased defense and decreased attack on the same ability on a 3-turn cooldown, and he's the fastest at 107 speed. So I'm still gonna give it to Stag Knight as being my favorite debuffer, maybe tied with my last champion that I'll mention here.
Okay, well, here's my last one on my list, and then I'll leave it to you.
Sure,
Which is Bane from the Skinwalkers, which she hits twice. Each one has a chance of stealing term meter, which is great. I mean, who doesn't want to steal term meter on basic? Chance of applying poisons and decrease attack. And then the third move, it does decrease defense as well as weaken, which is great. And Hyocer. So you have decrease attack, decrease defense, decrease weaken, and poisons, and term meter fill, all in the same character.
I've never
Great.
built Fane, but I've always admired the time that she puts into the gym as a mouse, you know?
No,
Like, she has
she's
some
got the-
nice six-pack going on over there, you know?
Oh wow, I can't even comprehend how inappropriate this.
Interesting last champion here. We must have miscounted. Oh, I handled one of yours or something. I don't know. We're not in order because I have a couple more. I'll go lightning speed here.
Right.
Apothecary, right? He's my other rare shout out is Apothecary. I guess my 3 favorite rares while I'm here is Reliquary Tender, Apothecary, and Codeheart. And it's not even close for me, you know, although there is a champion called Ashwalker now. Have you seen him?
I saw, you know, I was
Just
gonna
the
introduce
name?
you.
I might do a
I
guide
got
on
him,
him.
yeah.
I might do a
Worked on
guide on him
Fusion.
just because of the name.
You
Anyway.
know, they didn't make him that great, but they didn't make him trash.
He's not total trash. Anyway, increased speed, turn meter fill on Apothecary with the heal on a 2-turn cooldown. A 3-time hitter on the A1 too. For me, is like the nail in the coffin to make him one of my faves. Also 106 speed, so he's very, very fast. And the dungeon aura, which helps a lot of like early game players. 21% in dungeons is not bad for the defense. Again, going lightning speed here. Allure is on my list. I have 2 more champions here. Allure, just for the A1, man. Like, I'm talking about when I'm picking these champions, I'm picking someone who's going to be like a total game changer. And when you have Allure, she's a total game changer. That turn meter control on the A1 is, you know, she's one of your faves too, right?
She absolutely is, because she's one of these characters. I'm just a fan of characters that can do something that no other character
Exactly.
can provide.
Exactly.
And Allure is one of those characters like Codeheart, where when you pull her, you're like, oh wow, the options of which I can use to clear bits of content I was not able to clear before have been, you know, expanded. So
that's what I'm talking about, man.
You can't hate that. You can't hate that. Allure's great. You pull her, you should always feel happy about it.
She's just a fantastic champion. The next one, I have to give the Deak some love because I think that Deacon Armstrong is a tremendous champion with Leech on the A1, decreased defense on the A2, and I love the turn meter and the extra turn. Really, most importantly, is the extra turn with the turn meter.
Very well known to be like a common favorite by the community. Everyone loved that guy when he came out. It's very well received.
He's really good. And then my final shout out is going to be Geomancer, a newer champion, but I love this dwarf. Have you built him?
That's a good one.
Have you built him?
Yeah, I didn't get him. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm free to play now. I'm not
I
pulling
forgot.
shards
You're
at all.
all in. Good for you.
I've been free to play for a year and a half at this point, so it's been a while since I've spent any money at all on this game.
Wow,
and,
dude, good for you, man. Good for you. That's awesome. And you're still enjoying it more than ever, right?
You know what's weird, man? It's like I spent 16 grand. My main account, as everyone knows, because, you know, I said it when I was doing it, and the game's like almost more fun as free to play. You know, and maybe it would be frustrating for me because I wouldn't have had the experience when I did spend money. So it's like I've had that experience already, so it's different for me now. But it's like knowing what I know now and playing it now. Maybe it's different too because I'm making content and I just really enjoy listening to my people. You know, leave comments and stuff on the videos. You know how it is when you have a community. You know, that's what we love doing. We love our community, and so I'm actually enjoying just the free to play and making fun videos on free to play more than I ever had fun, like just sinking cash into the game and being trying to be top tier and worrying about the latest updates. It's I'm definitely a proponent of saying the game can be really fun as a casual.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, on that note, guys, go ahead and check out Darth Microtransaction's YouTube channel where there's plenty of free-to-play, 100% free-to-play content, news-related content, fun lists like this, everything that you need and more. Darth Microtransaction, I'll have his Twitch, his Twitter, and his YouTube information in the show notes below. Darth, thanks for joining us again, man. Appreciate it.
Always, man. I always love being on the channel. You people out there need to subscribe to this man, too, because he's out there making great content for you every day. So hit the button. He's out there fighting against everyone else. It's a war, everybody. We're slaving away to try to climb our way to the top. So.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Guys, I want you to let me know who we forgot. Who is your auto upgrade champion? Non-void, epic, non-legendary. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.